Transformers is a 2007 film that was directed by Michael Bay. Now, before I get into this review, I should probably mention that I wasn't the biggest Transformers fan when I was a kid. I mean, it's not like I disliked Transformers, and I do remember seeing the animated show, but I guess at the time I just wasn't too interested in it. The plot is we see this alien race known as the Decepticons. They've come to Earth because not only are they looking for this cube from their planet that holds all of this energy and power, they're also looking to free their leader, Megatron. So the Autobots, led by Optimus Prime, have also come to Earth to not only stop them, but to save the human race as well. Now, what I think of Transformers is, I have to admit, I really enjoy this first film. And I say this first film because now, in retrospect, I guess a lot of people look at the Transformers movies and they bash them. And maybe looking at some of the sequels, it's understandable. And I really can't argue with people who ultimately hate the Transformers movies. But I mean, either people forgot or they don't like to remember just how good this first movie is, in my opinion. I should probably talk about the human characters because they are essentially the main characters. We get Shia LaBeouf, who plays Sam Witwicky, and yeah, he's a little goofy and over the top, but he's playing a high school kid. And I remember back then I thought he was just so charismatic and energized and so funny that I just enjoyed his character. Now, when he meets Michaela, played by Megan Fox, I honestly can't remember at least this happening too many times where I saw a movie and I saw a girl who just, her first scene where she's bent over the yellow car and she's just looking insanely hot. This is probably the hottest Megan Fox has ever looked. I fell in love just instantly. Ever since Transformers, I was like, I love you. I also really find it amusing though, like their interaction along with the car that Sam had just bought. The scene where he buys the car from Bernie Mac is pretty amusing as well. And just the way how the car seems to have a mind of its own, it seems to be helping Sam try to hook up with Megan Fox. All of the humor, for the most part, in this movie works. It's funny. It's goofy, like with his parents or with John Turturro, but again, I think 8 times out of 10, the jokes work. Some of the other characters, we have Josh Duhamel and Tyrese. They're in the military, and they're pretty straightforward characters, but like we start the movie with them when that Transformer attacks their army base, and it looks amazing, first of all, but that sets up the danger of this alien race, and I really enjoyed having to follow those characters. Like when they're in that desert and that scorpion Transformer is going through the sand, it looks incredible. We also have some random characters like Rachel Taylor and Anthony Anderson, who, especially looking back, their characters seem so, I don't want to say forced in, but almost out of place because they never come back in any of the sequels. So you wonder, like, why are they here? But when I watch their scenes, they too are amusing. Like, Rachel Taylor is this really smart girl who's able to hack all of these files and basically figure out that this is an alien race, and she lets the Secretary of Defense, played by Jon Voight, she lets him know exactly what's going on. But enough with the human characters. I want to talk about the Transformers themselves. Like, Optimus Prime is voiced by Peter Cullen, and I love Optimus Prime. I love him as a leader. I love how he's serious. And even though they have some goofy moments with him, he's still serious and he means business. Also, Bumblebee, how can you not like Bumblebee? He's such a loyal car that, again, he's so likable. Megatron, though, Megatron isn't in this movie a whole lot, but when he shows up, it's like, oh shit. Shit just got real. And Hugo Weaving voices Megatron, which is awesome. I mean, if you're going to get an actor to voice a villain, yeah, Hugo Weaving is definitely the guy. Now, I've already mentioned how great some of the action stuff, but then when you get to the end of the movie and they have that huge blowout in the middle of the streets and it's chaos, it looks amazing. Not only does the action look amazing, but the special effects. I mean, clearly most of it's CGI, but I don't know what it was about the year 2007, just the later 2000s, that's where CGI really came into its own, and if it was used right, with a big enough budget, it looks flawless with all of the human characters and just everything that's in these scenes. It still amazes me how great the CGI and the special effects are for this film. So Transformers, again, I understand if you grew up a Transformers fan and you watch this and you don't like some of the stuff that they changed or just some of the way that the characters are portrayed, but maybe it's because I didn't grow up with it, a fan of it, that I watch this movie and I go, I think this is done well. I think this is the best that Michael Bay has handled this material. I do think there's a decent balance to the humor and the seriousness. I just love almost everything about this Transformers film. Not too many complaints about it. So guys, let me know in the comments below. Try to think about the very first Transformers film. And let me know what you think of it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!